Hi, we're talking today about teaching your early elementary aged child to pray. These are children in between grades kindergarten and grade 2 or 3. Couple of things about kids this age. Um, they are very interested in learning, but they get very easily frustrated. So as you kind of try to talk about teaching them things, pay attention to when they're getting frustrated. Their moral development is really focused on right and wrong. These are the kids who follow the rules of the game to a letter because that's where they are in their moral development. It's either right or it's wrong. But the good news, if you haven't really made prayer a part of your family life to this point, is that they are still really interested in doing what you do. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how to begin to teach your early elementary age child to pray. So as we mentioned, kids this age are really still very interested in what adults do. So they still want to model you. This is really good news for getting prayer to be a part of your child's life. Because if they see you doing it, and if you do it with them, they still want to do what you do. So that will make things much easier. Set a schedule that works for your family. If it's first thing in the morning to say prayers together, that's great. If it's around the dinner table, that's great. If it's as they're going to bed, that's great. Pick a time that works for you that you will be able to do consistently. A really good strategy is to use the same prayers that you use in church if you have a church that you go to. The only thing I will say is be careful about this, that you do them exactly the way they're done in church. Kids this age have two things that make them a little bit annoying about this. The first is they are very focused on right and wrong, and you have to do it the right way. And the second is that they very much appeal to authority outside the parents. And you know this because you have heard them say, "But my teacher says," when you try to tell them something different. So if you're going to use the prayers you use at your congregation, just use them the way that they use them there. Kids this age are just beginning to make sense of the world around them, kind of outside of their household and outside of their family. So explain to them why it is you pray. And I tend to think about that in 3 ways. Remembering that God is here, saying thank you, and asking for help. Now, you're going to have to explain this a couple of times because, like with all of us with everything, you have to learn it over and over and over again. So we remember that God is here, we say thank you, and we ask for help. One caution about this, kids this age have a very, very concrete sense of right and wrong. So be careful not to set up the idea that if they are good, God will do what they ask for, and that if they're bad, God won't. God doesn't work that way, and if they get that idea in their head at this age, it will stay with them through their lives. So really focus on, we're asking God for help, and God will do what God thinks is best for us, rather than that if we are good, God will do what we want. One last thing. Parents get very anxious about not being able to answer their children's questions about God. And I encourage you not to worry about that. Particularly at this age, the questions that they have are the questions you have. And it's really okay to say, "I don't know," and ask someone else for help. It's also okay to say, "I don't know," because God is too big for us to completely understand. Kids this age are beginning to get the idea of mystery, that there are things that we can't know or that we don't know. So I encourage you to be honest with them and just talk about what you believe and what you think you know, and to admit when you don't. Questions are okay. These kids are just beginning how to learn, and asking questions is how we do that.